From Daily Trust News Center, this is the News Hour.
On News Hour tonight, NEMA confirms 1 dead, 651,000 displaced as Niger, Benue rivers overflow banks submerge communities. NDA Kaduna honors 69 regular course cadets at end of training year. NDLEA arrests ex-footballer, 2 others for illicit drugs smuggling. And Burkina Faso's junta leader Paul Henri Sadaugo Damiba agreed to step down 2 days after military officers announced he had been removed from power. Hello and welcome. Waters from River Niger have flooded the Lokoja metropolis, submerging houses, offices, and business premises, destroying property, major highways, and feeder roads to the capital city. The worst hit communities are Gadumo, Ganaja, and part of Adakolo village, which are located at the point of confluence of rivers Niger and Benue. A water flow channel, the Mem River, which runs through the army barracks in Adavi local government to Lokoja, has flooded houses and offices around Meme Bridge and Adakolo extension of Lokoja Ajakuta main driveway by Dunamis Church in Lokoja. All houses, including the office of the Federal Minister of Information and Living Faith Church Foundation, and all the residential buildings around the bridge on Lokoja Ajakuta Road, have also been flooded, while many buildings are almost totally submerged. Meanwhile, Kogi State Governor Yahaya Bello has called for a declaration of state of emergency in the state because of the level of destruction. He said his administration had opened up refuge hubs, advising flood victims to move to these centers pending the time the floods will recede. The National Inland Waterway Authority has deployed its staff to assist the travelers at Ganaja-Lokoja Highway and ensure that commuters are not stranded.
My name is Arimbe David from National Inland Waterways Authority. Since the flood has got to this level, NIWA has been able to provide life jackets for the people of this axis to ease their movement and to forestall the problem and the danger that can erupt from the activities of what is going on here. We have been able to provide them life jackets. Not only that, we have been able to regulate them, the number of passengers their boat can carry, which if we didn't do that, some will carry more than what the boat can carry, and that can lead to mishap of the boat. And NIWA presence is here to make sure that there is no casualty and there is no mishap of any boat. And since Monday that we have been on ground, God has been helping us. There is no casualty, there is no boat mishap, and we have been able to curtail the excesses of the boat riders.
Nasarawa State Government has taken delivery of relief materials worth millions of naira from the National Emergency Management Agency NEMA to cushion the effects of the recent flood disasters in affected communities. The agency's Director General Mustafa Habib presented documents for the items donated to the State Governor Abdullahi Sule in Lafia. Abubakar Abdullahi sent in the report as presented from our studio.
Speaking before the presentation of the relief materials, the NEMA Director General Mustafa Habib, represented by the Director of Planning, Research and Forecasting Fatima Kasim, said the recent flood in the state was caused by the release of water from Labto Dam in Cameroon, adding that the initiative was to enable the victims to continue with their lives after the devastating floods.
The federal government through NEMA cannot compensate persons affected by disasters. The agency cannot compensate people for traumatic experiences that they have suffered in the aftermath of the disaster. What the federal government does is to help people get back to their feet and restart their lives through relief interventions.
Items donated according to the NEMA Director General include 1,000 pieces of mattresses, 3,000 pieces of mosquito nets, 2,000 pieces of blankets, 2,000 pieces of bath towels, and 2,000 pieces of nylon, among others. While commiserating with the government and people of Nasarawa State over the recent flood disaster in some parts of the state, which displaced people and caused socio-economic dislocation in the affected communities, the NEMA Director General said the relief materials are to complement the grain intervention the agency would soon be given to vulnerable groups in the state.
Your Excellency, sir, NEMA is here today to commiserate with the government and good people of Nasarawa State over the ugly incidents and to present to you some emergency relief items to cushion the effect of the disasters on the internally displaced persons in the state.
She urged the state government to, as a matter of necessity, take disaster risk reduction management to the grassroots, where vulnerability is high, to minimize losses whenever disasters occur. Nasarawa State Governor Abdullahi Sule, represented by his deputy Emmanuel Akabi, expressed delight at the donation and informed the NEMA team that the government has since taken drastic measures to mitigate the impacts of floods on livelihoods by ensuring budgetary provisions that will bring succor to victims of the disaster.
Just like what NEMA is doing, we as a state also made budgetary provisions to see you can get some form of succor for our victims of the flood. And I'm sure that on our part, of also the procurement of some of the relief materials.
Governor Sule, who noted that the state is counting on the flood and great intervention of the federal government to complement the efforts of the state government in that direction, assured of proper inventory and accountability in the distribution of the relief materials to the beneficiaries.
The National Emergency Management Agency has confirmed the death of one Ginikanwa Izoba in the Enugu-Otu-Oguleri flood. The acting state coordinator of the agency in Anambra, Thickman Tanimu, confirmed the incident in Oka on Saturday. Tanimu said Izoba died when his house collapsed due to the impact of the flood. He also said that at least 651,053 persons in 6 local government areas of the state had so far been displaced by flood. Tanimu said an assessment of flooding in different parts of the state revealed that Ogbaru had 286,000 victims, followed by Anambra West and East local government areas with 237,000 and 103,000 victims respectively, while Oka North local government area had over 10,000 victims and Ayamelum over 9,000 flood cases with 5,468 displaced persons. The presidential candidate of the new Nigeria's People's Party, NNPP, Dr. Rabiu Musa Kwankwaso, says Nigerians believe that his party would take the country to a greater position. Kwankwaso said this on Sunday in an interview with journalists in Jos after he commissioned campaign offices in the Plateau State capital.
The presidential candidate said wherever he and his party go, people troop in to receive them because they believe in their party and are convinced that they will salvage the country.
People would see and touch our supporters, and these are committed supporters, people who very much believe in our ideology, people who believe that if we are given the opportunity, we are in position to change many things for the better. And therefore, they also believe that if we get, the country will be a better place for everybody.
Kwankwaso also said when he joined the party some 7 months back, many had taken the party for granted and couldn't go anywhere. But with a credible candidate standing as flag bearers of the party, it was obvious that they would win the elections come 2023.
Many people thought we were not going anywhere. By the grace of God, today in this country, everybody knows. Even the opponents who had wanted to downplay the party to show that we are not there. Some would say we have no money. Well, we are very happy with that. If you say we don't have money, we'll ask you how much did you borrow? How much did you give us to establish a political party, to establish ESCO across the country, to establish all the offices, to establish all our candidates. I'm sure you must have seen we have close to 100%. No party in this country can boast of having better or more candidates than NNPP.
The presidential candidate appreciated the party members in the state for the warm reception he got from them. Ado Musa, Trust TV News, Jos.
The presidential candidate of the People's Democratic Party, PDP, Atiku Abubakar, has flagged off his presidential campaign office in Gombe State. The former vice president said the PDP might have made mistakes in the past, but the party is ready to correct them. Ibrahim Ismail reports.
The PDP presidential candidate, who was received by a crowd of supporters, commissioned his presidential campaign office along Gombe Bauchi Road in the state capital. The former PDP governorship aspirant Jamil Ishaku Gamna and other party stalwarts accompanied the presidential candidate to perform the function. When asked about the current crisis in the PDP, the presidential candidate said he is still making effort to reconcile members of the party.
PDP is a very popular party. It's the oldest party in Nigeria. We might have made mistakes in the past, and we have realized we made mistakes, and we are ready to correct those mistakes, and we believe Nigerians will trust us because they have seen our performance before, and they can compare our performance and the performance of our opponents. I am still talking to aggrieved members of the party, and I believe at the end of the day we are going to get united and deliver good.
The absence of former governor of Gombe State, Ibrahim Hassan Dankombo, who is in weakest camp at the inauguration of Atiku's office, has triggered reactions from some party members, but PDP stakeholders responded to his absence.
Although he's not here physically, but we assume we're going to have him, any moment from now. He has no option than to come back and join the people. Don't forget that he's also contesting for the seat of the senatorial, Gombe senatorial district. And he needs the PDP family for him to win. So we are waiting for him.
Since 2003, the PDP has been in power in Gombe State before the incumbent Governor Inwai Hayar of the APC dislodged the party in 2019. From Gombe, Ibrahim Ismail reporting for Trust TV.
Hoodlums on Sunday invaded the Sokoto Rima residence of a businessman, Malam Muhammad, in Katsina and inflicted several injuries on him. The hoodlums broke into his house early Sunday and carted away phones, money and other valuables after beating their victim to a coma. There have been several cases of attacks in the Katsina metropolis where miscreants scale the walls and break into houses of their victims. Worried by the incessant attacks, residents are appealing to authorities to ensure regular patrol with a view to arresting the perpetrators. The police public relations officer in Katsina State told Trust TV's Abdullahi Yamadi that the command is yet to be notified of the incident.
I was fast asleep when some people scaled into my house and started beating and stabbing me with knives and other sharp objects. I sustained injuries on my face and on my hands, you can see. I have been hearing about similar incidents in Katsina Metropolis, and I think something needs to be done by the security operatives to bring this to an end as the situation is getting out of hand.
Na ture shi zan ɗauko wani rodi daga cikin rodukan da aka yi sauran rodukan da aka yi mana aiki.
A very sad one there. Now, the Nasarawa State Command of the Nigeria Security and Civil Defense Corps has arrested 18-year-old Muhammad Hussaini for alleged robbery. The teenage suspected armed robber was paraded by the command's public relations officer, Jerry Victor, in Lafia. Abubakar Abdullahi sent in the report as presented from our studio.
According to the command's public relations officer, Jerry Victor, the suspect alongside other accomplices in an attempt to commit robbery attacked cattle rearers, who later overpowered one of them before the rest of the suspects took to their heels.
That some boys who were rearing cattle were attacked by him and his own gang. He was later trailed. We got to understand that he was having a locally made pistol in his possession, and when he was overpowered by those the boys cutting, rearing the cattle, he threw away the locally made pistol and he ran away.
He said the command succeeded in arresting one of the fleeing suspects through the cooperation of his mother.
We have been trailing him for some time, and we tried to, involve his parents, especially his mom especially, and she was very, very helpful to us. She was the one that brought him to the office. After we met her, we discussed with her on the way forward, and she complied with us, and she brought him to the office as well.
He also said the command is trailing other suspects who are at large until they get them arrested. The NSCDC PRO advised youth to always engage in meaningful trade, to become self-reliant and avoid constituting a nuisance in society. The suspect, Muhammad Hussaini, acknowledged that the crime was committed, but exonerated himself, saying the suspects now at large, who are his friends, were responsible for the crime.
Honestly, I am not among them. I am not the person that carried out the bastardly act. I am not the one that did it, but I know the people that did it. They are my friends. The gun belongs to my friend, and the gun isn't mine.
The suspects pleaded for mercy and vowed to turn a new leaf.
Unknown gunmen on Saturday kidnapped the traditional ruler of Owa Onire in Ifelodu local government area of Kwara State, Oba Abdurrahman Ifabi, his wife and a driver. Kwara State Police Command spokesman Okasami Ajayi confirmed the development Sunday morning. According to the PPRO, police tactical teams with vigilantes and hunters were immediately dispatched to the area by the Commissioner of Police, Paul Odama. Ajayi noted that the efforts of the teams led to the rescue of the abducted wife of the traditional ruler. He said 2 suspects involved in the kidnapping were arrested and are helping the command in her investigation, adding that efforts were ongoing to rescue the traditional ruler and his driver. Now, operatives of the National Drug Law Enforcement Agency, NDLEA, have arrested an ex-footballer, Okafor Emmanuel Jr., at the Murtala Mohammed International Airport, Lagos, with 1.40 kilogram of crack cocaine concealed in his bags. The 3-year-old indigene of Arochukwu local government area in Abia State was arrested on Monday, 26 September, after an anti-narcotic officers discovered he concealed the illicit substance in the handles of his bags and padded the top edges with the Class A drug. We have more on the activities of the agency in the last 1 week.
During preliminary interview, Okafor disclosed that he was an ex-footballer with the University of Nigerian Teaching Hospital, Enugu Football Club, where he played for 4 seasons before leaving for Sri Lanka in year 2014. He further stated that he moved to Brazil from Sri Lanka after playing for 2 seasons, but could not advance his football career in Brazil due to lack of official documents. Another Brazilian returnee, Ibe Chinedu, was arrested the same day upon his arrival at the Lagos airport from Sao Paulo, Brazil. Ibe, who hailed from Ahezu, Imbise local government area of Imo State, was found to have concealed 3.20 kilogram block cocaine, popularly known as Luchi, in false bottoms of his bags. In his statement, he said he was to be paid 3,100,000 naira on successful delivery of the drug in Nigeria. In the same vein, attended by a 32-year-old businesswoman, Palema Odin, to traffic 2.150 kilogram tablets of Revnol through the Nnamdi Azikiwe International Airport, Abuja, to Istanbul, has been thwarted by the NDLEA operatives. The mother of one was arrested on Friday, 23 September, while attempting to board a flight with drug concealed inside pepper and packed among foodstuff. The indigene of Afisere village, Ogele North local government, Delta State, said she operates a restaurant in Istanbul, Turkey, but come to Nigeria to see her relatives to buy food items for her restaurant business. Meanwhile, 2 Malians, Mohammed Damoli, 38, and Kolebali Maleki, 56, have been arrested by officers of the Marine Unit of the NDLEA at Ebute Eru, jetty in Lagos, for attempting to export 34.2 kilogram bottles of new psychoactive substance, Akuskura, to Mali through Cotonou, Benin Republic. In Taraba State, operatives on Thursday, 29 September, intercepted 100 compressed blocks of cannabis sativa weighing 73 kilograms concealed inside animal feeds, while their counterparts in Ogun State on Saturday, 1st October, arrested a physically challenged drug dealer, Abdurrahman Mohammed, with 104 kilograms of concealed cannabis sativa recovered from him. Another suspect, Shefia Bello, was arrested in Shagamu area of the state with 27 kilograms of psychotropic substance. The chairman, chief executive of NDLEA, Brigadier General Mohammed Buba Marwa, retired in a statement by the Director, Media and Advocacy of the agency, Femi Babafemi, commended the officers of men of seaport operations in Ogun, Taraba, commands for their resilience while charging them and others across the country to intensify the ongoing offensive action against drug cartels and traffickers wherever they may be located in any parts of Nigeria.
Police had recovered 2 decomposed bodies of ladies inside the office of the Chief Medical Director of a government hospital in Kwara State. One of the carcasses of the decomposed female bodies was found buried underground inside his office, while the other one was found inside a trash bin. The suspected former Chief Medical Director of Kiama General Hospital, Kiama in Kiama local government area of Kwara State, Adio Ademi Adebowale, now in Edo State, has been invited via the State Police Command and is now facing prosecution in Kwara State. Reports say the suspect reportedly told the police during interrogation that the victim, simply identified as Ifeoluwa, was his girlfriend and that he killed her and dumped her in a bush in Alakba in Asha local government area of Kwara State before it was later traced to his office. The second kidnapped victim, Nofisat Halidu, found inside the trash bin, had been declared missing by her husband, Halidu, in Kayama since November 22, 2021. Spokesman of Kwara State Police Command, Ajayi Okosami, confirmed the incident. You're watching News Hour on Trust Television. Coming up, how beggars earn a living through almsgiving. Details of this story after the break. Stay with us.
As the 2023 elections draw near, remember, evil prospers when good men and women only wish for peace, but never take a step to make peaceful elections happen. Are you a father? Are you a mother? What are you saying to your children as elections approach? Have you warned them not to let themselves be used to cause violence? Have you explained to them what the consequences of electoral violence might be? Do your part to make peaceful elections happen. Talk to your children. Protect them from unscrupulous politicians who want to put them in harm's way, while their own children are comfortable at home, within and outside the country. Let's join hands to make 2023 elections peaceful. This message is from the National Orientation Agency, NOAA.
Trust TV, documenting the Nigerian story.
Welcome back. If you are just joining us, this is News Hour on Trust Television. Our top stories. NEMA confirms 1 dead, 651,000 displaced as Niger-Benue rivers overflow banks, submerging communities. NDA Kaduna honors 69 regular course cadets at end of training year. Moving on, the Chief of Air Staff, Air Marshal Oladayo Amao, says the intensity of air operations with surface forces has reversed the escalation in criminal activities across the country. The Air Chief said this at the annual meeting of the retreat and award in honor of 69 regular course cadets of the Nigerian Defence Academy, Kaduna. The Air Chief urged the cadets to remain focused and show complacency in their career. The report.
Air Marshal Oladayo Amao, who was the special guest of honor at the beginning of the retreat, while urging the cadets to remain disciplined and focused, said with the support of the federal government, the armed forces, especially the Nigerian Air Force, has recorded success in the fight against criminal elements in the country.
You are all aware that the armed forces of Nigeria has been tackling several security challenges across the country. The Nigerian Air Force, for instance, has had to increase the intensity of its air operations in concert with the surface forces in order to reverse the recent escalation in the activities of these criminals and enemies of the Nigerian nation. This effort has borne significant fruits, as attested to by the recent successes recorded by both the air and ground forces. Therefore, with the continued support of the federal government, we intend to sustain and even increase the intensity further until we completely rid our country of all the vestiges of these criminals.
Earlier, the commandant of the Nigerian Defence Academy, NDA, Major General Ibrahim Yusuf, expressed delight that during the 2021-2022 training year, no casualty was recorded.
We can only imagine the hazards. So jumping over 400 cadets, firing various calibers of live ammunition without any cadet killed during the exercise, I think deserves special appreciation to Almighty God.
Mogadishu Battalion secured 9 trophies to come first, followed by Dalet with 5, Abyssinia with 4, and Boma Battalion with 2 trophies. The beating of the retreat, which is an old tradition in the military, signifies the successful end of a training year. Bello Musa, Trust TV News Kaduna.
The Nigerian Army on Saturday honored 5 officers of Operation Haɗin Kai JTF who distinguished themselves and demonstrated exceptional bravery, dedication and commitment in the fight against Boko Haram insurgents with the Theatre Commander Commendation Award. Among these soldiers was Lieutenant Colonel I.A. Manga, who was said to have led several anti-insurgency operations in the northern regions, including the Sambisa Forest. The Theatre Commander Northeast Joint Task Force Operation Haɗin Kai, Major General Christopher Musa, also honored about 80 officers, soldiers and journalists with gallantry medals for their outstanding performance in the counterinsurgency campaign. According to General Musa, among the 80 awardees are personnel from the Nigerian Air Force, Navy, Police, Department of State Service, Nigerian Customs Service, the Correctional Service, Nigerian Immigration Service, Civil Defense, and the Civilian JTF. Other recipients include journalists who have demonstrated critical roles in their reportage on the fight against terrorism in the region. In the spirit of celebrating Nigeria at 62, hundreds of Labour Party supporters in Kaduna held a rally and health walk in support of the candidature of Peter Obi and Hamad Datti come 2023. The rally and health walk were meant to awaken the consciousness of Nigerians towards the 2023 general election and the quest for a better Nigeria. The street walk commenced from Command Junction to Refinery Junction in Kaduna, with chants of solidarity songs as well as placards carrying different inscriptions. The supporters say they are ready to change the political narrative for a better Nigeria for all irrespective of religious background and ethnicity.
Fully obedient and useful Nigerian youth.
Why?
Why? Because the future of my life and that of my children yet unborn lies in this election. I am fully prepared. I have my PVC and I'm going out to vote 100% for Peter Obi.
As far as I'm concerned, the people are the structure, because it is the people's vote that will decide, not how many serving governors or senators that we have. What will give us victory is the PVC that all these our members are having, and they are going to cast it for Labour Party, for Peter Obi, for Ekene, and for Engineer Mike, Honorable Asake. Kaduna State is 100% obedient.
Member of the House of Representatives for Isheyi, Ite-Siwaju, Kajola, Iwajowa Federal Constituency, Shina Abiola Pele, has declared that there will be no room for rigging and electoral violence in the 2023 elections. The lawmaker noted that the newly signed Electoral Act will make it difficult for politicians to rig elections in 2023 and also help curtail any form of violence during elections. Pele stated this while addressing journalists shortly after he handed over some projects to his constituents in Isheyi. The report.
At the handover event, which took place a few days to the start of campaign activities, the lawmaker representing Isheyi, Ite-Siwaju, Kajola Federal Constituency, Shina Pele, says the welfare of the people remains a cardinal objective for him, hence the intervention.
Today, we have been moving from one place to another to commission different projects. At first, we had a plan to commission a total of 22 projects across the Isheyi, Ite-Siwaju, Kajola, Iwajowa Federal Constituency, but time couldn't permit us, so we decided to restrict it for this time to Isheyi. And probably maybe when we start campaign proper, then we can begin to commission the rest of the projects in the other local governments. And here today, one of the projects that we've commissioned, we've commissioned industrial boreholes, we've commissioned set of classrooms, and we are here commissioning this ICT center.
Honestly, I am so excited and so happy. It shows somebody that, loves his people. He didn't just come here he did not come here in 2018 to deceive them. He went to the House of Representatives and brought to them the dividend of democracy.
The word of assurance from this lawmaker is that he will facilitate more people-oriented projects that will make life more meaningful and beneficiary to the citizenry.
Now, contrary to speculations that the indigenous people of Biafra, IPOB, has declared Tuesday a sit-at-home order, the spokesperson of the group, Emma Powerful, says the group hasn't made such declaration. Powerful, in a statement, rather explained that the day was supposed to be a day for the leader of IPOB, Nnamdi Kanu, to appear at an Umuahia court after his rendition from Kenya. But the group has maintained that he is not appearing in court that day, noting, therefore, that there was no sit-at-home order. The United States of America pledged to support Nigeria in the fight against terrorism, insecurity, and as well free and fair elections. U.S. Secretary Antony Blinken made the pledge in a statement on Saturday, where he joined Nigerians to celebrate the country's 62nd Independence Day. According to him, the partnership between both countries was built on shared values of democracy, diversity, and a spirit of entrepreneurship. As the celebration of Nigeria's 62nd independence continues across the country, it is a double celebration for residents of Gombe, as state clocks 26 years since its creation in 1996. Trust TV's Ibrahim Ismail speaks to some residents on the journey so far. His report.
The PDP presidential candidate, who was received by a crowd of supporters, commissioned his presidential campaign office along Gombe-Bauchi Road in the state capital. The former PDP governorship aspirant Jamil Ishaku Gamna and other party stalwarts accompanied the presidential candidate to perform the function. When asked about the current crisis in the PDP, the presidential candidate said he is still making effort to reconcile members of the party.
PDP is a very popular party. It's the oldest party in Nigeria. We might have made mistakes in the past, and we have realized we made mistakes, and we are ready to correct those mistakes. And we believe Nigerians will trust us because they have seen our performance before, and they can compare our performance and the performance of our opponents. I am still talking to aggrieved members of the party, and I believe at the end of the day we are going to get united and deliver.
The absence of former governor of Gombe State, Ibrahim Hassan Dankombo, who is in Wike's camp at the inauguration of Atiku's office, has triggered reactions from some party members, but PDP stakeholders responded to his absence.
Although he's not here physically, but we assume we're going to have him, any moment from now. He has no option than to come back and join the people. Don't forget that he's also contesting for the seat of the senatorial, Gombe senatorial district. And he needs the PDP family for him to win. So we are waiting for him.
Since 2003, the PDP has been in power in Gombe State before the incumbent Governor Inwaya Hayar of the APC dislodged the party in 2019. From Gombe, Ibrahim Ismail reporting for Trust TV.
Rivers State Governor Nyesom Wike has insisted that there is a need to have a new government that cares about the unity of the country and the well-being of its citizens. Governor Wike made the statement at the March Past and Parade in commemoration of the 62nd independence of Nigeria at the Sharks Football Stadium in Port Harcourt. The report.
Governor Wike bemoaned the inability of the All Progressive Congress APC-led federal government to keep the economic and social conditions within Nigeria from deteriorating in the last 7 years. He pointed to such inability as evidence that the APC-led federal government is totally lost in any further measures it will take to stem or to ameliorate the predicaments they have inflicted on Nigerians.
The early years of independence were indeed glorious for our nation and our people. The founding fathers were clear in their vision and overly patriotic in their mission to build a truly federal, democratic and prosperous nation guided by a truly federal constitution, the rule of law, and the timeless values of equity, justice, and social solidarity. Sadly, this great vision was short-lived, and the march toward the nation's advancement was aborted and replaced by a strange, problematic, and dysfunctional federal system of governance by the illegal military adventurers. Although we have been a constitutional democracy since 1999, deliberate constitutional distortions, institutional weaknesses, and widespread corruption continue to prevent us from enjoying a robust democratic practice, including free and fair elections, the rule of law, and social justice from taking root in our country.
Governor Wike, however, stated that things can be better if there is the right political leadership in place that has the courage and is decisive and purposeful enough to drive the country on a new path.
After 62 years, Nigeria deserves more than what it has achieved, and Nigerians likewise deserve much more than what their leaders have delivered to them with the country's enormous natural and human resources. Over the last 7 years, the economic and social conditions of our country keep deteriorating under the All Progressive Congress-led government, which is totally lost in what further measures to take to free or ameliorate the predicaments they have visited on Nigerians. Life is sacrosanct, but the present federal government has failed in the most basic duty to the nation to protect the lives and property of its citizens.
The governor also appealed to Supreme Court of Nigeria to give the case on collection and distribution of value-added taxes generated from the state by the federal government, the urgency it requires.
Governor of Oyo State, Seyi Makinde, says it is not the time to roll out the drums in celebration, but to re-strategize for development as Nigeria is yet to fulfill its potentials. The governor made this known through his deputy Adebayo Lawal, who represented him at the occasion of this year's independence anniversary. He said this is the time that Nigerians should collectively raise the bar of development in every area of our lives and raise above underdevelopment. The event was held at the main bowl of the Adamasingba Stadium in Ibadan, the Oyo State capital.
We should rise above the tides of discord, degradation, decline, underdevelopment, which will see us blossom into that country that can truly be called giant of Africa. We must collectively raise the bar of development in every area of our lives. It is our firm belief in Oyo State that for the sleeping giant like Nigeria to rise to its potential, citizens and leaders must play their part positively as true stakeholders, without which the tales of woes will only continue to get elongated.
Nigeria celebrates 62 years of independence from British government. Though occurs to celebrate, many believe that the country is not completely free from the yoke of colonialism. Nigerians express mixed feelings over the actualization or otherwise of the dreams of the nation's founding fathers. Trust TV's Shafiu Suleiman reports.
In a speech at the United Nations General Assembly after independence, the first and the last Prime Minister of Nigeria, Abubakar Tafawa Balewa, envisaged a nation that was not only democratically independent but economically viable to lead the African continent.
It is a desire of Nigeria, as I have said already, to remain on friendly terms with all nations and to participate actively in the work of the United Nations organization. Secondly, Nigeria, a large and populous country of over 35 million, has absolutely no territorial or expansionist intentions. Thirdly, we shall not forget our old friends, and we are proud to have been accepted as a member of the British Commonwealth. But nevertheless, we do not intend to align ourselves as a matter of routine with any of the power blocs.
62 years later, how has Nigeria kept faith with this dream?
There are lots of obstacles. So we as a nation, we experience so many obstacles, and there are still going to be many obstacles. Although we are growing at a slow pace compared to the other developed world. But I think gradually we are getting it.
How many African countries are nuclear power? How many of us have achieved a lot of feats in science and technology? How many of us have witnessed industrial revolution? We are our own industrial parks. The national grid collapsed for the 7th time just yesterday in a year. So we are grappling with 5,000 megawatts of electricity for a country of over 200 million.
As it grows from a 35 million population in 1960 to over 200 million, Nigeria's development with diverse ethnicity and religions is said to be growing at a snail's speed in comparison with its contemporaries.
Too much ethnicity in whatever we are doing as people. We are playing a lot about religion instead of focusing on developmental issues that concerns Nigeria. We should eschew this issue of ethnicity, nepotism, and then corruption. It has helped a lot in making Nigeria not to get to where they are supposed to be.
Beyond the need to strengthen weak institutions, genuinely tackle corruption and produce credible leadership, respondents underscored the need for Nigerians to play their parts for the nation to attain its potentials.
Where is Nigeria in terms of science and technology? Those countries that we say are global, that are global war power, they are war power because of their achievements in information communication technology.
Is to support the government, especially, just as they said, police are friends to civilians. So that's how we're supposed to relate with the government. I think this will help the country to move forward.
It depends. Everything is in our hands. The government have their own aspect to take care of, but as an individual, we too will have our own contribution to development of Nigeria. As long as we wake up to say, God bless Nigeria, Nigeria will be blessed.
As it celebrates yet another independence 5 months away to a general election, respondents say the country can still right the wrongs and set the stage for accelerated development. Shapir Suleiman, Trust TV News, Abuja.
Beggary is a case of extreme poverty that leaves the person in that condition with the option of seeking alms to survive. Across Nigeria, people in this condition are easily spotted in public places seeking help. Although some are genuinely in lack, others have taken it as a profession. In this report, Trust TV's Kabir Lawal examines the life of professional street beggars who move from mosque to mosque on Fridays to make ends meet. His report.
Across board, many reasons account for many beggars on the streets and around mosques. An analysis of root causes of how they got caught up in this position many believe should make government launch a program of prevention rather than the amelioration of human inadequacy and suffering as national concern. In the Federal Capital Territory, some of the beggars, mostly women, told Trust TV News that their husbands were killed by incidents in Katsina State, making life difficult for them.
Our houses have been burned, and we have been displaced, and we are helpless. We always come here to get what to eat.
A study of street beggars living in squalid conditions in Nigeria has revealed that older adults in their 60s or older constitute a significant proportion of samples. Some boys who normally come to the mosque premises every Fridays also explain that they normally come there to eat food given to them by kind-hearted individuals and some money in the process. I cut nails. That's what I do for a living. And I come here to eat food every Fridays and get additional 1,500 naira anytime I come here. Imam Sharafuddin Alaga explained that the religion of Islam frowns at street begging and called on government not to relent in its efforts to provide the needed basic amenities to curb the menace of street begging.
Is not encouraged by Islam, because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has placed human being in a high position with high esteem. We shouldn't relegate ourselves to street begging. Whoever is involved, Rasulullah says, "La shay'un amarru min as-salah." Some are forced into the streets to start begging for one reason or the other, but it is our responsibility, the who is who, the government, to do something to get them off the street from begging, especially the Muslims. It does not speak well of us. It does not bring out the good image of Islam.
Street begging is a challenge faced by many nations of the world. It is a worldwide phenomenon that requires global attention. Kabir Lawal, Trust TV News, Abuja.
You're still watching news on Trust Television. I'll see you on the other side of the break. Stay with us.
That's great. It's good to see you.
Welcome back. And on the foreign scene, Burkina Faso's junta leader Paul-Henri Sandaogo Damiba agreed to step down Sunday, 2 days after military officers announced he had been removed from power, religious and community leaders said. Following mediation between Damiba and the new self-proclaimed leader Ibrahim Traoré, Damiba himself offered his resignation in order to avoid confrontations with serious human and material consequences, the religious and community leaders said in a statement. They added that Damiba had set 7 conditions for stepping down, including a guarantee of security for his allies in the military, a guarantee of his security and rights, and that those taking power must respect the guarantee he had given to the Economic Community of West African States for a return to civilian rule within 2 years. The religious and community leaders, who are very influential in Burkina Faso, said that Traoré accepted the conditions and invited the population to exercise calm, restraint and prayer. 42 bodies have been found in a mass grave in the Libyan city of Sirte, an ex-stronghold of the Islamic State group, the country's missing persons authorities said on Sunday. Exhumation teams unearthed 42 unidentified bodies after following up reports of mass grave at the site of a former school in Sirte, the authorities said. DNA samples have been taken for analysis in coordination with the Office of Forensic Medicine, it added, without elaborating further. Sirte's central coastal city was held by in between 2015 and 2016 as it exploited the chaos engulfing much of Libya in the wake of the 2011 overthrow and killing of dictator Muammar Gaddafi in a NATO-backed uprising. At least 92 people have been killed as Iran has cracked down on women-led protests sparked by the death of Mahsa Amini after her arrest by the notorious morality police, the group Iran Human Rights said on Sunday. As protests stretch into a third week, President Ebrahim Raisi on Sunday said the enemies of Iran had failed in their conspiracy. Kurdish Iranian Amini, 22, was pronounced dead on September 16th after she was detained for allegedly breaching rules requiring women to wear hijab, headscarves, and modest clothes, sparking Iran's biggest wave of popular unrest in almost 3 years. An additional 41 people died in clashes Friday in Iran's far southeast, an area bordering Afghanistan and Pakistan, Oslo-based IHR also said, citing local sources. Solidarity rallies with Iranian women who have defiantly burnt the hijabs they have been obliged to wear since the 1979 Islamic Revolution have been held worldwide with demonstrations in more than 150 cities on Saturday. Fighters from a notorious militia hacked 14 civilians to death in an attack in Eastern Democratic Republic of Congo, local officials said Sunday, in the latest violence to hit the turbulent region. Suspected ADF militants on Saturday evening entered Kiamata in Ituri province, Benyali Chabi chiefdom, and killed 14 people by machete, said Jacques Anai Banjigawa, the head of local youth group. The fighters also wounded 2 others and torched 36 houses in the village, he added. Benyali Chabi chief Etienne Babaniulu Chabi, who confirmed the death toll, said the victims had been buried in a common grave. And in sport, Erling Haaland saluted Manchester City's amazing performance as the Norway striker made history with yet another hat-trick in a 6-3 rout of Manchester United on Sunday. Haaland destroyed United with the latest display of his predatory finishing, in process becoming the first Premier League player to score a hat-trick in 3 consecutive home games in the competition. After 52 years without a hat-trick scorer in the Manchester derby, City were able to celebrate 2 trebles in the same game against their arch-rivals as Phil Foden also bagged a treble at the Etihad Stadium. Haaland has made an incredible start to life with the Premier League champions since signing from Borussia Dortmund in a €51 million deal that already looks a bargain. Wolves manager Bruno Lage was sacked on Sunday after his club plunged into the Premier League relegation zone 24 hours earlier. Wolves have won only once in 8 Premier League games this season, and Saturday's 2-0 defeat at fellow strugglers West Ham left them third bottom of the table. Wolves chairman Jeff Shee described the manager as an excellent coach, a hardworking and dedicated manager, and a warm, wise and honest man. He said the decision to relieve him of the job was a difficult but necessary one. At least 174 people have died in a stampede at an Indonesian football match that has become one of the world's worst stadium disasters. About 180 were also hurt in the crash after home team Arema FC lost to bitter rivals at the overcrowded stadium late on Saturday in Malang, East Java. The stampede took place after police tear-gassed fans who invaded the pitch. As panic spread, thousands surged towards Kanjuruhan Stadium exits, where many suffocated. Initial reports put the death toll at about 130, but Emil Dadak, East Java's deputy governor, later announced a significant rise that put the figure at 174, adding that 11 more people were seriously injured. President Joko Widodo has ordered that all matches in Indonesia's top league must be stopped until an investigation has been carried out. Indonesia's chief security minister said spectators exceeded Kanjuruhan Stadium's stated 38,000 capacity by around 4,000 people. Now, Nigerian mixed martial artist Sadiq Yusuf has made a stunning return to the octagon with a quick fire submission of John Shanes at the UFC Fight Night in Las Vegas, Nevada. The Lakers-born fighter was originally supposed to face former contender Giga Chikazi in the co-main event of the UFC Fight Night 210 on September 17 before Chikazi withdrew from undisclosed reasons. Yusuf was the big favorite on the entire UFC Vegas 61 fight card, and he showed why by taking just 30 seconds into the opening round to submit his opponent via a Galanto choke. Both fighters clinched up at the start of the fight, with Yusuf burying multiple knees into the midsection of his high-notice replacement opponent. And when Shane changed levels, Yusuf swiftly locked up a front naked choke to secure the tap. And that's it on News Hour. Do not forget to follow us across all our social media platforms. I'm Zainab Bala. Thanks for your time and company.